Hello there, my name is Beth Gath and I'm the Media Literacy Coordinator here at the Peabody Public Library. And first off, I want to let you know that this class is geared to go at your pace, which means that you can stop this, minimize this, go away from this, and come back to this at any time and pick up where you left off. This is all pretty basic, so I'm going to try to do it in a step-by-step type of class, but if you find that you're being overwhelmed or you're having a hard time keeping up, just get in contact with me and all my information is right here for you. And we can schedule you a one-on-one appointment, which is completely free to you, and we can just sit down together and work on this, just you and I together. So without further ado, I want to welcome you to Google Tools.
Okay, so the first thing that we need to do with Google Tools is to be able to locate it. So from our desktop, and I've got my desktop here, I'm going to get myself onto the internet. And I'm going to go to Google, which I have already coming up right here. And once Google comes up, we are actually going to see in the right-hand corner, we have some different options. And the one that we're going to be interested in is our apps options. And this is the area right here with all the little squares. We would push that. And then this is just showing you the more common of the apps. If we click on more, we get just a little bit more. But if we click on even more from Google, we are now going to get a list of all of the Google products and tools that we can use through Google. And as you can see, there are several of them. We are only going to touch on about 12 of them for this class. However, there are a lot more that you could research later if you wanted to. So again, starting over from our Google page, we click on our squares or our apps in the right-hand corner, push on more, push on even more from Google, and now we have a wide selection. So go ahead right now and minimize and pause this video, get yourself on the internet, and get yourself to your Google Tools.
So like I said before, we're going to be discussing 12 of the several that we had to choose from in the Google Tools options. And with each one of these, we're just going to briefly touch base on them. If I went into great detail on each one of these, this class would be an all-day class. So I try to keep my classes typically less than 2 hours. So if we want to keep this class at less than 2 hours, then we're just going to have to briefly go through some of these. Now, if there's anything on here that you may be interested in learning more about, please get in contact with me so I can schedule you a one-on-one appointment so we can either set you up on an email, create you a page, go through Google Docs, Google Earth, PICASA, Translate, whatever you want to go through, just you and I, we can do that together. Most of the information that I'm going to provide you for each one of these is going to be very brief and to the point. Most of them I've tried to get a video for just to kind of sum it up and wrap it up for us. And most of them will have a video of some kind. So just to let you know that we're going to be going over these top 12 from Google Gmail to Google Page Creator, Google Calendar, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Forms, Google Maps, Google Earth, Google PICASA, Google Chrome, YouTube, and Google Translate. So hopefully you're familiar with at least one or two of these as the class goes on, and by the end of class I hope that you have familiarized yourself with every single one of these that we're going to talk about in class today, but I wanted you to be familiar with it. The first thing that we're going to talk about is going to be Google Email, and I have a brief video just kind of running through Google Email for you real quick. There's not any words. It just runs through it real quick of all the features that Gmail has to offer all of their customers or clientele. So I hope you enjoy the video, and if you need help creating a Google Gmail account, please get in contact with me and I'd be more than happy to assist you with that. Okay, so that video was pretty fun. It just kind of briefed us and ran through Gmail real quickly. But I wanted to let you know what Gmail actually has to offer you. So you can open a new account with Gmail. It used to be back in the day that in order to get a Gmail account, somebody that you knew had to have one, and you had to be referred to get one, but all of that has changed. So you can open your own Gmail account now. You can locate features in the program itself. You can view and manage your incoming email very easily, read your incoming mail and messages, conversations. You can specify whether you want to show images. You can play MP3 files in your Gmail. You can check out file attachments and how you want to attach things. You can send email from Gmail. You can troubleshoot working with Gmail, respond to an existing email. There's always tips for sending messages, which I'd love to share with you. Get with me and we can do that together. Preparing a message, finishing a message, attaching files to your email, the appearance of your email. Make sure you're using that spell check for the accuracy of the content. It has a contact list, so you're able to store your contacts very easily within it. It also, you can import and export those contacts very easily, as well as editing them. You can search for your contacts in the Gmail, adjust the program settings to suit yourself. You can change your themes, your pictures. You can do all sorts of things. So in summary, Gmail is a terrific client and accessible anywhere you can make an online connection. Gmail offers a range of email activities such as sending and receiving email and managing contacts. You also can learn about the program features in Gmail, from your signature to the appearance of the text on the page. Anything can be customized. So there's a lot of information that is involved with Gmail, but this is primarily used to communicate or contact other people that have email addresses. So if you need any help signing up with a Gmail account, get with me. And I can definitely get you going on that. If you have a Gmail account, I would suggest that you pause the video and you get yourself in there so you're able to just kind of look around and see what things maybe that you hadn't seen before. So this is summing up all about a Google Gmail.
Google Sites makes websites and wikis simple, and it's free. Create and publish a new page with just a few clicks. Add info just like you do in a document. Just start typing. And you can insert pictures, videos, or other types of content. Make as many pages as you like, and arrange them as you please. All your info is stored securely, online, in one place. You can make your site public or private, and control who can edit your site. Getting started is easy, and there are a number of helpful templates. More than just a visual theme, site templates can include site structure, custom page templates, embedded gadgets, and more. So whether you're making a site for business, school, a club, or your family, you spend less time getting set up. Get your site at sites.google.com.
Alright, so that was another fun video that we got the opportunity to look at. If you're not familiar with the Google Page Creator or the Google Sites, I wanted you to be aware of it. This is a spectacular program that allows you to create your own website for free through Google. And it teaches you how to start a page, insert and customize your pages, publish and unpublish content, and create a store. First off, you would have to sign up for Google services, so you'd have to have some kind of a Gmail account in order to create your website. So you want to make sure that you sign up for the Google services. You can sign into your Google account and then go directly to the Google Page Creator from there, or the sites. You can design the site quickly using program options, and you can see there that there's a picture there that shows you to the left bottom the options that you might want to choose from of the template, making sure that you're displaying your page correctly. summary. You would have a site URL or a website that would go along with it, and things that you can publish. You can choose your layout from the page, and that's what's listed there for you. You can insert your own content the way that you want to and arrange it. You choose a color scheme and the look for your site. So even though there are templates, you can still change those around. You can add pages to the site. You can save your pages, insert and edit page contents. You can change the program view. You can add and configure your text, which means you can change that around if you need to. Insert images from external sources. You can upload and insert an image from a file that you may have on your computer. You can add an online image, so if you've gone and found one somewhere else. Make sure that you realize that not all images are free for the taking. Use the image upload feature in the Google Page Creator at your own risk. Your images are your own, including your own photos, illustrations, or drawings on your website, which is hassle-free. Images that are hosted on someone else's site aren't yours for the taking. However, they are subject to copyright laws, so you want to be careful with that. So if you want to use an image that belongs to someone else, email the owner for permission to use the picture. You may be requested to display a notice granting you the rights to display it. So you want to make sure that you have a royalty-free type of picture, so you don't have to worry about getting in any kind of trouble for plagiarism or taking anything. There is an edit image creator as part of that. So if you have an image that you'd be able to edit that around and make it a little bit more geared toward whatever your site is. You can access more edit tools through there. You can add different links for different uses. You can manage the site. Of course, adding sites is very helpful. You can check site settings, preview and publish your page, and so forth. You can also participate in a discussion group to tell your friends about your page, or maybe even getting them to create their own Gmail and maybe wanting to do that. So you can see how the Google Page Creator helps you build up to 5 websites that are stored in the Google Pages server. You can create new sites and manage the pages in the Site Manager. Add and configure text in the page editor. You can insert images and other content and use editing tools to tweak your images. Google Page Creator offers a number of features for publishing and managing your site and pages. So there you go. If you're wanting to get a free website, I highly recommend Google Page Creator. It seems to be very, very easygoing and very easy to work with. So if you need any help creating a website for yourself, get in contact with me. We can schedule you a one-on-one appointment and we can get you going on that. So if you would, go ahead and pause and minimize this video. Go to your Google search engine and just type in Google Page Creator or Google Sites, and you will be prompted to get right to there, and you can just kind of play around and see what might work for you.
So now we're going to talk about Google Calendar. So the best way to get to Google Calendar is to get into the internet, and we're going to do that right now, and we are in the Google Internet, and up here in the corner, we've been working with this already, are our apps, and we can push that and then click on more apps and then even more apps, and we can get inside. And once we're inside, you can see clearly that we have plenty of options for ourselves to choose whatever it is we're looking for. So for instance, we are going to be working with the calendar, and the calendar is going to be located under the Home and Office tool. So you would just push on calendar and it gets you right in there. Now I have a couple of different calendars that I'm working with right now. You can organize your schedule with the Google Calendar and making sure that you understand how to get around. So for instance, let's say today I have, or maybe it's for tomorrow, I have an appointment at 10 a.m. So I could click on my 10 a.m. slot, and then here I can just say I have a doctor's appointment, and it's going into this specific calendar. But if I have more than one calendar listed, I could put that there, and we're going to talk about how you can add yourself a calendar, and then I would just create that event. So clearly we can see here that I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow from 10 to 11, and it also lets me know that I've added it up here. I can also do a quick add right here. So for instance, let's say that today I am going to go to the grocery store. So I could type that in, and I could do it for 1 o'clock p.m. and then I could hit add. And here it is, from 1 o'clock to 2 p.m. I'm going to the grocery store. So that's just a quick add. This is a weekly view. You could do a daily view. You could do your whole month, just like that. 4 days worth. And then of course there is an agenda. So we're going to go back to our weekly view because that's what's defaulted for us. So if I wanted to add a new calendar, I can just click this little arrow here and I can create a new calendar. And here I can name it, maybe I want to name it my appointments, and anything involving appointments. I'm not going to worry about a location. I'm not going to make this calendar public or anything like that. So now I can just create my calendar, and here in a moment we're going to see it show up, and there it is. There's my appointments. So if I decided that I wanted to edit this, I could, and I could push on it, and then I could choose a different calendar and put it in my appointments and then save. So now it's color coded. It is in my green, which is my appointments. Oh, I guess I should have done that with my doctor. Sorry about that. But you get the idea. So now I'm going to go ahead and edit this, and I'm going to change it back to my original calendar. And then I'll come in here and edit this event and put it in my appointments, and then I can click save. And then it changes the color to go in coordination with the calendar that I have chosen. So you can also set up the weather, and I have done that on some of these here, and we can do that in our settings. If you didn't see what I just did, let me go back. Oops, took me right out of my calendar, didn't it? If you didn't see what I did, I went to my settings, which is this little gear wheel, and actually if I just put my mouse on top and I don't click anything, it tells me that it's settings, and then I can click on settings, and down here is where I can decide if I want to have a forecast put on. And clearly I have it showing degrees in Fahrenheit. I have it doing it for 4 days, but I could do it for 7 days if that's what I chose to do. And I have a lot of different calendar options. So if I do the whole month, here in a moment, it should pull up, unless I didn't do it quite right, it should pull up my forecast. Okay. Location, custom view, and so forth and so on. So I think you get somewhat of the idea. Apparently it's only going to do it 4 days out for me, but that's okay. We can recustomize that if we wanted to do that later. Or you can actually just click on a date and go to that date and put in there what you want by week, month, day, and so forth. And then I can just click on my calendar view. So you can add additional calendars, you can share your calendars publicly, you can track public calendars, you can share it with your friends, you can include holiday calendars, you can add events from the web, and you would just go in and add the event itself from Google. You can, again, I was telling you that we can look at our weather for sure and share this publicly. So this is what Google Calendar looks like and how it's going to be able to benefit you. It's showing an older calendar that I put in. Oh, that's because I'm a week behind there. So if I wanted to show all of my calendars, I can click on these. It's deactivating them, or I can push them back and they're back on there. So why don't you right now go ahead and take a minute and minimize this video and go ahead and get yourself into Google Calendar and just kind of play around with those dates and times and things like that. At this point, again, now that I've added a weather, I have my weather app right here, and I can change my colors if I want to, just like I can do with my other ones. But go ahead and get in there and just kind of play around with Google Calendar. You can't mess anything up, so don't worry about that. If you need any help using this, just get in contact with me, and I would be more than happy to assist you with that.
The next section we're going to talk about is Google Docs and all of the wonderful options that Google Tools has for us for Google Docs. These are some of the programs that are available to you through Google Docs. You've got Google Document, which is very similar to Microsoft Word or Microsoft Office. You also have Google Presentation, which is very similar to PowerPoint. You've got Google Spreadsheet, which is very similar to Google Excel or Microsoft Excel, and you've got Google Form Drawing. And so if you use any of these types of programs, you're going to really like Google Docs, because if you have Microsoft Word at home and you've created a document and you put it on a flash drive and you take it on the go and you realize the next location you come to doesn't have Microsoft Word for you to open it, you're going to be able to open it into Google Docs or the document portion. So the next few slides we're just going to talk about Google Docs, where to locate them, what you have, what options you have available to you for those, and how they can benefit you.
Okay, so we are now going to talk about Google Docs, and one of the first things that we need to do in order to get ourselves into Google Docs is to get onto the internet, and that is what I am doing now. And just like all the things that we've done before, we're going to be dealing with these apps over here on this side. So you could push that more, even more, and now we can go down to where it says Google Docs, and then we are into Google Docs. So it's very similar to all the other things that we have been working with. You do have to have a Google account in order to be able to access Google Docs. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is it is going to show you all of the recent documents that you have been into. So if your document is listed here, then you could just click on the document itself, and then you would be able to go in and edit it. But again, those would just have to be items that you have pulled in directly into Google Docs in order for that to happen. So if you wanted, we could double click it, and then from here we could decide that we want to edit this somehow. So I'm adding on a year, or maybe I just want to add on the month itself. But you can clearly see how we're able to edit that, and then I can go back to Google Docs, and it's back in there, and it's my most current one. Now, if I right-click on here, I'm able to rename, move it. I can open it in a new tab, and things to that effect. So this is how I can edit existing. Up here in the right-hand corner, I have a file. If I click on that, it shows a list of all of the documents that I have already put in there. If I want to upload a new one, I can click on Upload, select a file to drag it over, and I can click on my name and go down to where there are more files, and maybe I want my shortcuts, so I could open up my shortcuts, and here clearly we can see that it's opening it up for me, and then I'm able to go in and edit it. So right here we can see that we have some tabs. Our File tab allows us to share, new, open, make a folder. Our Edit allows us to undo, redo, paste. Our View shows us our ruler and some other types of options. Inserting, if you're wanting to insert an image, you could find wherever that image is, double click, and then it will upload it into your document. So bam, there you go, you've got it there. But if you don't want that, you could just click it and then hit delete, and you're right back to where you started. You got your spell check, so we can see clearly here that it wants us to make a few changes. But then it says there's nothing else to correct. So again, if you're very familiar with Microsoft Word, then you're not going to have any problems in the Google Docs area being able to edit your stuff. So this is kind of like my ribbon. So if I wanted to print, I could push on my print, and typically it's going to pull up a little box for me, but our printer is not working quite right now, so it won't do that. But I can do a paint. I can change the size of my document that I'm working with, and things to that effect. So this is just working off of existing documents I either have in my computer or that I've already used on Google Docs. Now let's say that I want to start my own, a brand new one. Down here in the bottom right hand corner I have this area here, and I have a little document plus sign. So if I click on that, then it's going to open up a brand new document for me, and now I'm able to type you a little message thanking you for coming to class, kind of thing. So from here I can actually go in and edit my stuff. I can bold it, italicize it, I can do whatever. And let's say that I want to add a comment, some type of a comment in regards to this, like it shouldn't say students needs edited. We could put should say family, something like that, and then you put comment. So it's kind of an editing feature that is very similar to Microsoft Word and Open Office, and of course I can resolve it and fix my issue that I have. So there you go. This was Google Docs in less than 5 minutes, and all I can say about it is that you can go in and you can just kind of play around with the software itself. Up here I have an untitled document, but if I just click on that, then I could label it whatever I want, click OK, and now if I go back to my home, we can clearly see that my student letter is the first thing there, that it put it as my recent document, and I can double click and go in. So I'm going to highly encourage you right now to get on there and play around with Google Docs. If you're having any problems or you have questions with this, please get in contact with me so we can schedule an appointment, and we can get you on your way with Google Docs. In this section, we're going to be talking about some more about Google Docs, except now we're going to move on to Google Spreadsheet, which is very similar to Microsoft Excel. So again, just like we've been doing, we'll need to get ourselves onto the internet, and here I am on Google, and again, there's my apps, and I'm going to go to more, even more apps, and we're going to find the Google Docs or the spreadsheet in the same location that we found the Docs, and it is under Sheets, so we would push on Sheets, and as soon as it comes up, it's showing that I have some kind of a survey feedback in here, and there's my survey feedback that it is pulling up for me. But actually I could just import myself a different kind of document, and it has some untitled ones, but I want to bring one in from my computer that I've been working on, which would make life a little easier on me, especially if I don't have access to Excel that allows me to do that. And it looks like I'm going to click on this survey feedback form that I have listed, and it's pretty much the same thing. So it looks like that's all I have. But from here, as you can clearly see, I'm able to activate my cells. You can create spreadsheets from scratch, or you can upload your own files. You can edit and format spreadsheets. You can use charts like you're used to using in the other. So I could insert a chart if I wanted to, and say OK. I would have to give my chart a range, of course, but here I can click on some type of chart. So if I wanted to create myself a chart, I would highlight the area that I want charted, and I could choose that I want a line chart, and I can insert it, and there's my chart. I don't have a whole lot of information, so that's why it looks a little different, but here I have my undo and my redo, so I can click on undo and it'll take that out. But from here I can actually go in and edit my information if I want to on an existing spreadsheet that I've created. Or we can go back and just like Google Docs, down here in the corner we have an add, so I could click on that add button and it's going to open me up a brand new sheet just like this, and it looks just like Excel. And again, we have our tabs that we're used to, like we talked about in in Google Docs. And so it gets a little confusing because these are also similar. So you can clearly see that you have plenty of options. You can upload a file from your computer. There's actually a tour on here that you could take that shows you how to use it. You can resize your cells. You can add a text. So for instance, if I wanted to label this, I can either do it here or I can do it here. Either way, I have a label. If I wanted to put in some numbers, I'm just going to randomly put some numbers. Maybe here I want to add in one of my formulas that I'm used to. So I could do, let's see, we've got 1 plus 3, and then we could do this, and it gave me 1 plus 3. What I was trying to do was get this to auto sum for us, but we can do that right here. And have it sum it up. So, and it shows me here that I just did it wrong is all. And there's my total. So you get the idea. And then of course, if I wanted to chart this, then I could choose my chart. Maybe I want a pie graph of some sort, and I could insert that in there. And this should be movable, and it is. So we can see the chart and so forth. So if you are familiar with Excel, and if you are familiar with the Calc, which is the Open Office program, then you're not going to have any problems using the spreadsheet that they give you here. And up here I can click on this, and here's where I can title this. Maybe I just want to label it example. Click OK. I can go back to my main screen, and that does that for me, and now it's my most current and it's at the top. So you get the idea. It's very similar to the document that we worked with through Google. So go ahead right now and minimize and pause this video. I didn't go into a whole lot of detail because just like Excel or OpenOffice Calc, this can get quite deep, so I don't want to lose you. I just want you to kind of have some fun right now and be familiar with what Google Docs has to offer you, and spreadsheet is one of those options. So if you already have an existing spreadsheet through Word or through Excel and OpenOffice, then you would be able to open those in here and edit them, or you could just start from scratch if you don't have either one of those programs and create your own. And then you'll be able to save it, so that way if you do end up getting those programs, you could open them up, or you could just continue to use the Google spreadsheet. So go ahead right now and minimize the video and pause it and give this a try and see what you think about the spreadsheet in Google Docs. So now we're going to move on to Google Forms, and again, this is a program that you would be able to get to just like you've been getting to the Google Documents and the Google Spreadsheets. It's in that same home and office area. And what Google Forms are good for would be to create some kind of a survey or a quiz or something along those lines. And Google stores those results for you within there, so you always have access. So again, we just want to access ourselves to the internet and get on Google here, and go ahead and click on our apps and even more apps, and we're going to come down to our home and office, and then we're going to click on Forms. Now, as soon as you get into Forms, you are prompted to choose what kind of a theme you may want to use, and you can see you have several. The default looks like it's just a survey form, whereas the rest of these have some sort of design and they are labeled for you. So you could, if you wanted to, choose some kind of template that you would want to use. And I think I want to try the bluebirds, so I'm going to hit OK. Now once I get in here, I have an untitled form, so I could label this student quiz 1 if I wanted, and then I have an untitled question, so I could type my question in. What do you enjoy about computers? And I can make it multiple choice. I can make it where they have check boxes, choose from a list, a grid, a scale. I'm going to keep it at the multiple choice. And then down here I've got show link to submit, publish and show a public link, or allow responders. I'm just going to keep it at the default, which is what they have already checked here. And then up here we have our edit. We can duplicate it or we can delete this. If I click on edit, then it takes that away. If I click on it again, now I'm able to do that. A little bit lower here, I can actually go in and add an item. So I'm going to click on add an item. So now I can go ahead and put in a different question. Do you enjoy Google? And we can make this a checkbox. And I can label my option 1 as yes or no. And I'm actually going to go up and edit this one. So then I could come up here and I have it on multiple choice. Let's keep it that way. So I could make this one different types of options. Maybe I want a list of different things that are a part of my survey, and I think you get the point. So now I am done, and it has it here. So if I click send form, I now can share this link. I can copy and paste this link. I can share it through Google+, plus I can share it on Facebook and Twitter, but I'm not going to, so I'm just going to hit done. Oh, it looks like it's going to make me. I will just put it on Google+. Now remember that you do have to have some kind of an account with Google. You either have to have some kind of a Gmail or, Gmail. You need to create yourself an account on Google in order to access all of this, just like all of the other items. And here is my quiz. So I could push on Student Quiz 1, and this is what it would look like if I were taking it, and I would say, what do you enjoy about computers? I enjoy Yahoo. Do you enjoy Google? Yeah, I do. And I can submit that, and your response has been recorded, and I can submit another one if I want to. So if I go back, maybe. So now if I want to go in and edit this form, I could just click on edit this form, and we can see here where I am able to add another item, and here's my response. I have my responses, my accepting responses. This form has been turned off, so I don't have it active anymore, but it does keep a summary of my responses. So, and it gives me a graph, which is kind of nice to allow me Google, yes. So then I can keep track of that. So this is what Google Forms is, and it's really good for those quizzes. You can also pull in something from your computer. If you already had one, you could pull it in, and then you could go back to, and we could download this to our Google Drive if we wanted to, and have it entered on there. But I think you get the idea of what you're doing. And again, we can rename it right there, and it saves it for us. We can add files, take me to my downloads, and now I have a blank screen, and it'll probably want you to update and so forth and so on. But I think you get the idea of how you would use, and it looks like you can change your theme if you want, if that's an option that you want to do. Make sure your settings are set to where you want them. And this takes me back to all of my my drive, which is everything that we've done thus far in Google Docs. So I hope that you enjoyed Google Docs, the documents, the spreadsheets, and the forms. And please don't be afraid to get in there and play around with the different kinds of options that you have, because there are tons and tons of them. So go ahead right now and just minimize this video and get into Google Forms, see what you can do in there, play around with Google Documents, play around with the Google Spreadsheet, and just see all the options that are available to you. Have fun. That's what this is all about, is having fun and creating those special things that you want for yourself. So just have fun with it. This next section we're going to start talking about Google Maps, and Google Maps is a fantastic program. It allows you to navigate different kinds of maps, map views. You can clearly see routes and itineraries. You can create them, you can customize them, any kind of upcoming travel plans that you may have. So again, we need to get ourselves into Google and get ourselves into those apps that we were talking about earlier. Now notice that when I push it just the one time, I've got Google Maps right there. It's one of those that is used so frequently that they put it right on the front, as well as Calendar. We had talked about Calendar and Gmail already. So Maps is right there. So we could click there to get us into Maps, or we could go into the even more apps, and this was going to be in our Geo section, which is right here, and then we could click Maps and we are on our way there. So from here we are able to decide if we want some type of directions. Do we want a driving directions? This is the travel mode. This would be the bus mode, walking, and there's then riding your bike, and an airplane mode. So if we were to put in Columbia City, Indiana, and notice how it starts to fill up there, we could then put in, maybe we want to go to New York, New York. And now it's going to give us our routes. And notice how I have a satellite view down here as well. And it's telling me that for me to get there, I'm looking at 10.5 hours to get from where I am to New York City. And it looks like I'm right there on the drag. Now from here, I can actually, excuse me, begin to put it in as a driving route, and then I'm able to list all my steps, and it tells me where I'm going, and you can see that clearly. And up here I can actually pick different kinds of routing options. It lets me know my construction that's on the way. I have printing options where I can just print my text that's over here, or I can print my text including my maps, so that's kind of nice. And I have a settings bar where I can actually put in my places, and I'm able to add in whatever. I can create my own map from here. I can create a new map, and remember, you do have to have an account with Google in order to do this. So there I'm able, if I double click, I'm able to zoom in on wherever it is I want to be. I can move my map around, and so forth and so on. So we can clearly see that it can definitely be good for us to be able to create our own. You can just get directions, is what we just did a moment ago. You can get rid of that altogether or bring it back. You can reverse your trip if you want to. So that trip we had on here just a minute ago, I don't know if it'll reload it for us or not, and it did. So here's our trip, and I can actually do the reversal, and it shows me the other way. Now if I don't like this kind of route, I could actually take my line here, and I could, let me zoom myself in, I could try to reroute this to something else. I can grab a hold of that blue line. It doesn't look like it's going to let me reroute it, but you do have different kinds of options. Let me go back into the driving, and the walking. let me reverse that again. And here, it's not really giving me. Most of that's going to be because of toll roads and what have you. But yeah, because this route has tolls. So there's no way to really avoid that, and you're not going to save much time, so they're not giving me another option. But clearly sometimes you can pull these out by the little dots that are on there, and you can kind of reroute yourself sometimes if you can get close enough in there. So if I wanted to try to change my route, then I could, but it's not allowing me to, which means that this is the best route. So if you haven't had an opportunity to use Google Maps, I highly recommend that you use it. It's an amazing program. You can get to wherever you want. You can print it out. If you have a smartphone type of device, then you would be able to get in there and also do a route where your phone will talk to you and tell you where you're going and where to turn and things to that effect. So go ahead right now and just kind of make up your own kind of map that you can use to get you somewhere. Of course, you've got your history in here. Your settings are always good. I don't want to re-enter my stuff. So, and this brings us back to where we were. And here's my route options. I can decide whether or not I want toll roads, non-toll roads, and things to that effect. So, and of course, you always have your help features. So go ahead right now and minimize or pause this video and get in there and see what kind of route you can come up with. Okay, so now in this section, we're going to talk about something different. We're going to move on to Google Earth. So if you're not real familiar with Google Earth, this is going to be fantastic for you to be able to get the opportunity to be a part of Google Earth. And the first thing we have to do to get Google Earth is that we actually have to download it. And so the way we do that is we go to our internet like we're used to doing. And then we will go up to these apps like we are used to and click on more, even more. And this is going to be found exactly where you found the Google Maps location. It's in your Geo section. So here's Google Earth, and we would click on Google Earth, and right up here it says download Google Earth. So you would want to do that first. You would want to go ahead and download Google Earth. I have already downloaded it, so I'm going to just close out of all of this. Once you push on this download Google Earth, then you can just follow the directions. It will show you. And once they are downloaded, then you're going to get this icon like this down here that says Google Earth, and you would click on that. Now in Google Earth, you can choose between Google Earth and Google Maps. You can also take a program tour, and we're just kind of waiting for it to come up here. There, I didn't double click. And also you can check out the program elements. They have menus and search panels. There's a place panel. There is also layers and a Google Earth toolbar, a 3D viewer, a location data, and of course you can be a tourist on the planet Earth. So as you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and maximize some of this. Navigating through Google Earth, and you can see that they have a nice little startup. You can use the tours if you need to, and it tells you how you can do that. You can also search for places. These are the layers I was talking about, and so forth. So we're going to go ahead and close it just because I want you to get a visual of what Google Earth looks like. And it is hard to tell there. I'm going to go ahead and minimize it because I want you to see the toolbar up here. So here you're going to be able to add a place mark. You're going to be able to add a polygon. You can also show historical images, sunlight across. You can switch between the Earth and the sky and the planets. You can do a sightseeing tour, and I'm clicking on that now. So they're doing, so you can notice how I can move around my globe, and I'm just doing that by putting my hand on it, left clicking, and then I can I can spin it. So we can see how that's spinning, and we can see the world behind us. So if I wanted to do that, it shows me the sun and where it's going to be in regards to where Earth is and things to that effect. Here we are able to see our sky if we want to. So this is our sky, and it lets us know our constellations of our stars. We can see Mars. It's loading up our Mars, so that's navigating. So here's Mars from the Google Earth, and of course the moon. And each time you click on those, you're going to be able to go in and get that navigation pane to come up, so you can do some the tips and the activities and the tours and things to that effect. So this is Google Earth, and here's your layers. You've got borders, so if I wanted to pin a location, I could pin where I am located, and click OK. And here you can see that it has my location pinned for me. So if I wanted to, and I can just kind of zoom in, trying to zoom in, and there's my, of course it didn't put it where it belonged, but you can see that, and I probably just typed it in wrong. But this is how Google Earth works. I would highly encourage you to get in there and take a look at it. You're going to be able to do a lot of things. You can click to view comments, locations. You can zoom in to get even closer. So I'm double clicking on Indiana. It's getting me closer, and now I want maybe a certain region. So now I'm getting into Columbia City. This is Whitley County, and I can actually get zoomed in on all of the city itself, which from here looks fairly big. And then you can even zoom in any farther, and you can get into your backyard if you want to, kind of thing. So this is Google Earth. You can travel the globe. Of course, you can find your way back home. Make sure you look at that navigational system and using your mouse to navigate. You can choose different view sizes that might work for you. Try traveling the globe, and just push buttons, because honestly at this point you're not going to mess anything up. It's just for fun. So let's see if we can get Mars back up, and it's got Mars all zoomed in like it had that, and it's pulling it back out. So let's see if we can get the Earth. There we go. So there's our Earth. So we're back to where we started. So Google Earth is really fun, and you can actually put it with Google Maps, which will make it a lot easier for you. You can, and I do believe that this is Google Maps, and of course you can save images, you can print, send it in an email, show the ruler. This tells you where you are, and so forth. So I wanted to show you that. And of course, we've already gone through the sky, Mars, and moon. This is going to be your sun, and the images. You can record a tour, add an image overlay, and do all sorts of things. So go ahead right now and minimize this and pause this video. Download Google Earth for yourself and just kind of explore around in Google Earth. It is super fun, and I promise you that you're going to get a lot out of it. Okay, so next on our agenda is going to be Google PICASA, and the way that we're going to get to that is the same way that we've been getting to all of the Google tools, and of course that's through our internet. Let me get us on the internet here and through Google. If I can get it clicked. Get it through Google, and here's our apps, so we can click on that and go to more, even more. And once we get in here, then we're going to be able to find Google PICASA. and it is in here, and what it is good for, and it's under your media. What it's good for is editing, finding, and sharing photos. So I'm going to go ahead and push on Google PICASA, and again, very similar to Google Tool or Google Earth, you will have to download PICASA, and once you do that, then it will transfer your pictures over. I already have it downloaded. Here is what my icon would look like once it's downloaded. And again, you would just follow the instructions of downloading it like you would anything else. So I'm going to get myself in, and this is Google PICASA. And I have several pictures in here, not several I guess, but I have a few pictures in here willing to work with. So let's just pick a random type of picture. I don't really, let's see, we'll just use my computer picture here. So if I decided right now that I wanted to change this around, I'm instantly, all I did was double click on the picture I want, and it prompts me to here. Okay, and this is just my interface of PICASA, and in here now I have a bunch of tools. From here I could crop this, and it shows me different possibilities that I might want. This picture's so small that I'm not going to really worry about cropping it. I could straighten it, and it gives me grids, and I would just apply it this way. I could red eye it. I don't have any red eye. Feeling lucky, that just kind of switches the colors and the auto contrast, and I could put a text in, and here's my little text box that it gave me. And I'm just going to type in welcome to class. Now once I'm in there, I can take my little hand and I can make it bigger if I want to, and place it right in the center of that screen, and I can apply that, and now it's in there. Very nice. This section here, because each one of these tabs has different sections, this section here you might want to highlight something, and I'll show you. This is the highlighting. You might want some fill light, maybe some color. You could actually choose a color that would work for you. And then these up here are going to be, you start getting into your filters. So if you wanted to make this a black and white picture, you could do that. Anything you do can be undone, so I can undo the black and white, takes me back to my original. Maybe I just want a tint, and then I can pick my color that I might want to tint, and you can see how that changes right before your eyes. So let's pick that as my tint if that's what I wanted. I'm not going to, but and then I can adjust it if I need to. Or these are just called filters. Maybe I just want to glow, filtered with black and white, but I can also choose another color to go with that if I choose so. And I can cancel, and so forth. So now my next area, I've got even more options. So maybe I want to make it loomish. Maybe I wanted a cross process. Maybe I want the 1960s look. Maybe I just want infrared or heat lamp. Duotones, and this is where I could pick my colors if I wanted to. And my last filter, maybe I want a pencil sketch. Maybe I want the neon. Maybe I just want it to be softened. But I think you get the idea. All right. Now, keep in mind that when you go to do this and you apply an action, so for instance, let's say I chose that I wanted the pencil sketch. Okay, and I applied that action. Now everything that I get, any option I get now, is always going to involve my pencil sketch. So I can undo my pencil sketch and I'm right back to where I started. So let's say that I wanted to do the inverted colors. Now every option I have will have something to do with the inverted colors. Okay, so it's just kind of fun to be able to go through PICASA and try getting around the program, and you can organize your images and videos. You can import images from your camera. You can put images in folders. You can choose different views. You can rename the folders. You can hide folders, you can organize albums, you can keep track of all this and maintain it. You can track down images, you can get images off the internet, you can do it in a full screen slideshow if you want. You could even make a collage. I could pin this picture if I wanted and go back to my library and notice how this is still pinned. And maybe I want to pin this picture, maybe I want to pin this picture, and maybe I want to pin this picture. And from here I could go up to create and I could create a picture collage, and now it has all those pictures that I chose and I'm able to push them around and so forth and so on. So I think you get kind of the idea. And anything I pin can be unpinned, and I can just clear my tray and I'm back to where I started. So Google PICASA, fabulous program. It's great for editing your pictures, making them completely flawless, very basic, just cropping your lighting and your color, the effects, and doing the collage, of course. And of course you can print them, and when you do go to print them, let me show you that. Oops, I'm going to discard. So let's say this is my daughter joining the Army. Let's say that I'm ready now to print. I could go to print, and once I hit on that print, now I have some options. Here I can just do wallets. It's letting me know I'm only going to get one of those. I can do in a 3.5 by 5, a 4 by 6, 5 by 7, 8 by 10, or even the full page. So when I go to print, I have several options that I can choose from. So if you need any help with Google PICASA, please get with me. I'm pretty good at it. I use it on a regular basis for all of my pictures, and I highly recommend it to anybody that enjoys taking pictures and wants to learn some editing. So go ahead right now and minimize and pause this video. If you have not downloaded Google PICASA and you would like to give it a try, please do so. If you find you're having problems with it, just give me a call. We can schedule a one-on-one appointment. I would love to show you how to use Google PICASA because I want you to get the fullness out of it that it has for you. So I'm not going to keep you any longer. I want you to be able to have an opportunity to get in there and play around with this. So again, if you have any problems, give me a call, and please enjoy Google PICASA. Moving on to the next section, we are going to be talking about Google Chrome. And Google Chrome is a web browser, which is just like your Internet Explorer, your Firefox. A web browser gets you connected to the Internet, and you would have to go and download it. So first off, I'm going to show you that part of it. So if we're on the Internet, and we are interested in Google Chrome, as soon as it comes up here, we could type in Google Chrome and enter, and Google Chrome browser, and this comes up, and just like Google Earth and Google PICASA, we would have to download Chrome, and then you would just follow the information or the instructions that they provide to you to download that. So, and again, of course, I already have it downloaded, so we're going to go ahead and double click on Google Chrome, and you're going to notice when you get into Google Chrome that it is slightly different than the Internet Explorer versus the Firefox. The differences between those: Internet Explorer has very limited security, Google Chrome has one level above that, and Firefox even has a level above that. So as far as security purposes and things to that effect, that is one reason why people really enjoy using Google Chrome. And here you can see that this is Google Chrome, and it's very similar to just typing in Google. So I could go to my home page, and that's where I'm at now. I've got my little bar that comes down here. From here I can add a new tab, a new window, bookmarks. If you're used to being on Google, then this is going to be a breeze for you. It's primarily the same thing, it's just a different browser. Again, you can sign in with your Gmail account, which makes it a lot more personal for you. I can go to my settings in Google Chrome, and here's where I might want to sign in. I can get some themes for my appearance to make it look kind of cool, and I really like this one. And it says it's a free one, so I am going to try and get this to go onto my Google Chrome for me. But it allows you to do a lot of different things. So now it's hard to see, but in the background here I have that picture that I just sat as a thing. But you can go into the settings and do all kinds of things. You can actually insert your own theme. You can put in your own picture. A lot of the teenagers like Google Chrome because you can really personalize it and make it somewhat of your own. You can make it pretty good. So, and of course, you have your apps, which will get you to those Google tools that we're used to. And you have a Google Chrome store where you can go in here and get more apps if you wanted to, if you're an eBayer, things to that effect. You've got your tools, which allows you to do create some applications. You can do has a task manager and so forth. And of course, you've always got your About Google Chrome, which will tell you everything you need to know that involves it. But primarily, it's just a web browser that's connected to Google, and you can always get help with using Google Chrome by pushing on that. And by pushing on that, it's going to get you in. This is about articles, new to Google Chrome, learn the basics, take a tour of the Chrome, install Chrome, frequently asked questions, personalize your Chrome, why sign in, just anything that you want to know about Google Chrome. And again, I found that by going to my my settings. And sorry, I went there by going to tools, or About Google Chrome. I do apologize. I'm trying to wake up apparently this morning. So About Google Chrome, that's how I got there, and I clicked on that and it took me here, and now I'm able to get help with using Chrome, and it gives me all these lists that I was in. Those settings, the displays, Chrome's for mobile, your security and safety, your apps, your troubleshooting, and so forth and so on. Google Chrome can be fairly large, so if you're not really used to it, it could seem overwhelming. If you need any help with getting around in Google Chrome, just let me know. And then again, this is just a personal preference. You may or may not like using it. You may want to revert back to using the Internet Explorer, but I definitely highly recommend that you at least give it a try and explore around in there and see what Google Chrome can offer you. So go ahead now and minimize this and download Google Chrome if you choose so, and see what kind of options and so forth. If you're having problems with this, just get with me and we can set a one-on-one appointment and we can go over this together. So now it is time for my favorite part of Google Tools, and that is using YouTube. Right now, if you're watching this video, then you're on YouTube right now. So have fun with it. But I want to show you some things that YouTube is useful for other than watching my fabulous shows and my fabulous tutorials of all of our great classes here. One thing that you definitely need to know, of course, is how to get on Google Tools. And we've been talking about that the entire class. So again, I'm going to get myself on the internet and get myself onto Google, and then I'm able to, and again, I haven't mentioned this, but if you don't want to mess with this apps, you can always type in whatever it is that you're looking for, whether it's Maps, Earth, PICASA, Translate, whatever it is, you can just type it in this web browser as well, and it'll get you there. So you're going to be just fine in that area, but it's on our main page here. As soon as we click on the apps, we've got YouTube, so I'm going to go ahead and push on YouTube, and YouTube is fantastic. Not only is it good, of course, like I said, for watching my great shows here, but it's also really good for you to be able to learn how to do things on your own. So for instance, right now you can create channels on here. I subscribe to a couple of different shows that I like to keep track of. But if I just wanted to learn something basic, how to make chocolate, oh, I gotta learn how to spell first. Chocolate chip cookies. I'm going to get tons and tons of videos showing me how I can make chocolate chip cookies, and as you can see, they're all about 10 minutes or less, not even really 10 minutes, 10 minutes or less, minute and 45, and so forth. So for instance, if how to use Google PICASA, and I hit enter, and now I'm going to get tons and tons of videos. This one's a 30-minute, probably more like a tutorial. Like I said, most of these Google tools can all be pretty much split up into their own classes, so I'm trying to sum this up as quickly as possible so we're not stuck here in a 3-hour class. But anyway, this kind of shows you. So if I wanted to learn how to use Google PICASA, this is a 5-minute one. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but I could push on it, and here whoever this person is got a nice little video going on. Very impressed with that. Yeah, so in here you can use the Google PICASA program. So you get the idea of how this works. And maybe you have a laptop. How do I use my laptop? And you can type that in. All right, now it's also good if you want to listen to the music that you like. So if Louis Armstrong, I think I spelled it wrong. Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World. Now I can watch the videos if I want to. So, and I can upload my own videos so I can see how many hits I can get and things like that. So YouTube is summed up. I can do this in less than 5 minutes. That, you know, it's great for learning things no matter what it is. If you're just trying to park your car, to making cookies, to learning how to use some of these Google tools, YouTube is the place to be. And I highly recommend that you get yourself familiar with it, because in the long run, it's really going to help you get through some of the issues that you might be having with some of the other programming. So again, if you need any help with YouTube or you have any questions about YouTube, please get in contact with me so we can schedule a one-on-one appointment with you. I really don't feel like you're going to have any problem. It's so pretty self-explanatory, and you can also get these videos with lyrics, which is kind of nice. So go ahead right now and minimize, and just, since you're watching this, you're already in YouTube, so go ahead and just kind of fish around and see all the different things that are available to you through YouTube. Okay, so now it is time for us to talk about Google Translate. And Google Translate is a fantastic program that is good if you're a traveler or if you just want to learn a different language. And again, we would get to that just like we've been getting to all of our other types of Google tools, and that's through our apps, or even just typing in Google Translate in your search bar would work, and even more. And here is Translate, but it would also be in the other. If I went and I click this, even more, it would be in there as well. So I click on Google Translate, and from here, and this is pretty easy, it's letting me know what I'm doing. So if I wanted to type, hello, how are you? It's doing it in French, and I can see that because this is kind of indented. It's not the same color. And then I could listen.
Bonjour, comment allez-vous?
See? So that's really awesome. Now if I wanted to hear it in Spanish, and it even tells me how it's spelled.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
And so forth and so on. Now I can click this little arrow here, and I can choose tons and tons and tons of, let's see what it sounds like in Italian.
Ciao, come stai?
So you can see that Google Translate is pretty self-easy and pretty self-taught. So you can say, I am from the United States. I am very excited to be here today. Right now it's translating it in Italian. Let's listen.
Io sono dagli Stati Uniti, sono molto entusiasta di essere qui oggi.
Very cool. Now let's listen to it in French.
Je suis des États-Unis. Je suis très heureux d'être ici aujourd'hui.
And so forth. You get the idea. Arabic.
أنا من الولايات المتحدة. أنا متحمس جدا لوجودي هنا اليوم.
So you get the idea. We're going to learn really easily how we can learn a different language. So as you can see, Google Translate is pretty useful, and it's going to help us a lot when we are doing that traveling, or maybe we just want to learn a new language. You can also improve the you can do a contribution to improve translation quality shown to users anonymously, things like that. So it has a few more other things that you can do. So if we did this in Latin.
summa eros lorem ipsum dolor sit hodie.
So that would be Latin for that. So I would like to see you work with Translate. So why don't you right now go ahead and pause and minimize this and have some fun with Google Translate. It's very, very exciting to be able to hear a different language, possibly be able to speak it. If you have those tablets and those smartphones, you'd be able to access Google Translate very easily if you're in another country. Or maybe you're just a teacher or a homeschooled parent that wants to learn another language or to help to teach their child to learn another language. So go ahead right now and play around with Google Translate.
If you're a part of the Computer Class Pass Incentive Program, your secret code is, I mastered Google Tools. Get me this code so I can get you marked down for taking the class and be on your way to winning prizes. Wow, so congratulations, you made it through Google Tools. I hope you feel very, very accomplished, because if it wasn't for you, I'd have no reason to have these classes, so I want to thank you for taking the time to watch. You want to definitely be listening for that secret code that's within this class so you can win some prizes. Get me that code. And again, don't forget that any kind of additional help that you may need, I can schedule you a one-on-one appointment. They're absolutely free, and we can go over all your technology needs, whatever that may be. So take a deep breath. Inhale, exhale, it's all over. You made it through it. I hope that you learned something out of this class and that you're able to apply to things that you're doing in your normal life, because that's kind of the purpose of the class. If you have class ideas that you would like to see streamed, please get in contact with me. I would love to hear your ideas. And again, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch Google Tools. I want to thank the following websites for their information and images. If it were not for them, we would not be able to have this class. So thank you to the following websites for their images and information.